Have you ever felt let down by someone? Like you gave your all, but they didn't do the same for you? It's a painful feeling, and it often leaves us wondering, why are people so selfish? It's a question that has probably crossed everyone's mind at some point. We see it in small things, like someone cutting in line, and in big things, like betrayals in friendships or business. Today, we're going to dive deep into this uncomfortable truth about human nature. And I promise, by the end of this video, you won't just understand why people are selfish. You'll have a new perspective that can actually protect you from disappointment and help you build stronger, more realistic relationships. Let's start with a foundational idea. At our core, we are all driven by a survival instinct. This isn't just about physical survival, like finding food and shelter. It's also about our psychological and emotional survival. We want to feel safe, valued, and happy. And to achieve that, we often have to prioritize our own needs. Think about it from a biological perspective. In 1976, the biologist Richard Dawkins published a groundbreaking book called The Selfish Gene. The title sounds a bit harsh, but the idea is profound. Dawkins argued that it's not actually us, the individuals, who are selfish. It's our genes. Our genes have one primary goal: to replicate and pass themselves on to the next generation. They are the ultimate survival machines. So, from this viewpoint, many of our seemingly selfish behaviors are just our genes, programming us to do what's best for their own survival. For example, a mother's fierce protective love for her child isn't just a beautiful emotion. It's also her genes ensuring their own lineage continues. She's protecting the vessel, carrying half of her genetic code. This extends to our close relatives. We're more likely to help a sibling or a cousin than a complete stranger because they share more of our genes. It sounds cold when you put it that way, but it's a powerful force operating beneath the surface of our conscious decisions. This biological imperative plays out in our social lives all the time. Imagine you're in a work meeting. Two colleagues are competing for the same promotion. They might be friendly on the surface, but underneath, they're both trying to highlight their own achievements and maybe even downplay the others. Is this because they are bad people? Not necessarily. They are driven by a desire for resources, a higher salary, more prestige, better security for their family. They are acting in their own self-interest, which is a modern-day form of ensuring their survival and well-being. Now let's talk about something called reciprocal altruism. This is the idea that we often do nice things for others, with the expectation, conscious or not, that they will do something nice for us in return. It's the "you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours" principle. This looks like selflessness, but if you peel back the layers, there's a selfish motive. We help our neighbor move their couch because we know we might need their help later. We build social networks and friendships because having allies increases our chances of success and survival. Where we get into trouble is when our expectations don't match reality. We often project our own values onto others. We think, I would sacrifice my time for them, so they should do the same for me. But the other person is operating from their own set of priorities and their own selfish programming. When they choose their own needs over ours, we feel betrayed. The problem isn't necessarily their selfishness. It's our unrealistic expectation that they should prioritize us over themselves. Let's take a common example. A friendship where one person is always the giver. They're the one who always calls, makes the plans, and offers a shoulder to cry on. The other person is happy to receive all this support, but rarely gives much back. The giver eventually gets burned out and resentful. Why? Because there was an unspoken expectation of reciprocity. The giver thought they were in a mutually supportive friendship, but the taker was simply enjoying the benefits. The giver's disappointment comes from assuming the other person shared their definition of friendship. Understanding this doesn't mean you should become cynical and distrust everyone. Not at all. It means you should become wiser. The key is to shift your mindset from expecting selflessness to understanding self-interest. When you interact with people, try to understand what their needs and motivations are. What's in it for them? This isn't about being manipulative. It's about being realistic. For instance, in a business negotiation, if you can frame your proposal in a way that clearly shows how it benefits the other party's self-interest, you're far more likely to succeed. Instead of saying, "You should do this for me," you say, "Here's how this partnership will help you achieve your goals." You are appealing directly to their natural inclination to look out for number one. The same applies to personal relationships. If you want a friend to help you with something, recognize that they have their own life, their own stresses, their own limited time and energy. Don't demand their help as if you're entitled to it. Ask, and be genuinely grateful if they say yes. And if they say no, try to understand that it's likely not about you personally. They are simply managing their own resources. This understanding is incredibly liberating. It frees you from the emotional roller coaster of disappointment. When you stop expecting others to be selfless saints, you start appreciating the genuine acts of kindness you do receive so much more. When someone goes out of their way for you, knowing that they didn't have to, that they chose to prioritize you in that moment, it makes their gesture far more meaningful. So, how do we navigate a world of selfish people without becoming selfish and isolated ourselves? First, practice what I call clear-eyed altruism. Give because you want to give, without strings attached. Help others because it aligns with your values, not because you're expecting a cosmic IOU to be cashed in later. When you give freely, you won't feel resentful if you don't get anything back. The act of giving is its own reward. Second, set clear boundaries. Understanding that people will act in their own self-interest means you need to protect your own. It's not selfish to say no. It's not selfish to protect your time, your energy, and your mental health. Boundaries are the healthy way to navigate relationships with others who are, naturally, looking out for themselves. People will take as much as you're willing to give. Your boundaries teach them how to treat you. Third, find your tribe. While everyone has a degree of self-interest, some people's values will align more closely with yours. Seek out people who also believe in mutual support, who have a similar capacity for empathy, and who show through their actions, not just their words, that they value the relationship. True friendship isn't about a perfect 50-50 split of give and take in every moment. It's about two people who are both committed to the well-being of the other, even if the balance shifts from time to time. These relationships are rare and precious, so cultivate them. In the end, people are selfish because survival, in the broadest sense, is our most fundamental instinct. Our genes are selfish. Our psychological needs are selfish. Expecting people to consistently act against their own self-interest is a recipe for failure and frustration. But by accepting this reality, you can change the game. You can protect your heart from disappointment. You can build relationships on a foundation of realistic understanding, not fantasy. You can appreciate true generosity when you see it. And you can learn to be a source of genuine, no-strings-attached kindness in a world that desperately needs it. Understanding selfishness doesn't make the world a darker place. It just turns on the lights, so you can see where you're going. And with that clarity, you can navigate your relationships with more wisdom, compassion, and success. What do you think? Has this perspective changed how you view your past relationships or how you might approach future ones? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories and insights. Thanks for watching, and if you found this helpful, be sure to like and subscribe for more content that helps you understand the world and yourself a little better. See you next time.